Well, as the new year has started, so I decided I should do a little review from already past events that's been done by DDT Pro Wrestling and, of course, Pro Wrestling Noah, and the latest Stardom event before the end of the year of 2020. So, all of that will be reviewed, discussed, and talked about on this episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everyone to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling from AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, matches, wrestlers, championships. I am your host J-Rod here. So let's start off with this DDT Pro Wrestling event, which was a 2-day event called Wrestle Peter Pan. This took place back in June. I believe the first day was in June 6th of 2020. Now, I never seen this show. Now, the only reason I review this is prior before they started letting people to attend their shows in Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling, DDT Gambari, and of course other ones they have done in the past. But however, this is a 2-day event. I think this is one of their big events they have normally conducted. But let's start with the first day, start to finish. The first match it was between Nobuhiro uh, Shimitani versus Seigo Tachibana. Now, much of these guys I don't remember who much. I don't know who they are, but the first match was really good, very hard hitting. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Young Lions style, or as the technical term in their promotion, the Young Boys. So basically, it was a good match from what I see. But however, the match ended in Nobuhiro's way. But Nobuhiro was being a little cocky and all that, and he was saying things to Tachibana. But all of a sudden, he was confronted by Dino, who basically was defending him. And from whatever reason, he sided with them and just took him to the back. So Dino is one of the veterans in DDT, but he has a good way of helping those that he feels they should not be bullied. The next match is I think, hmm, yeah, it's a tag team match. We got Hiroshi Yamato, Sari Anu versus Kosuke Ishii and Harusake. Um, well, like I said, I don't know much of these wrestlers, but I'll tell you the result anyway. The winner for this one was Yamato and Anoy. I don't know who they are. Basically, it was an okay match. I'm not gonna lie about that. The next match we have, this one is a real interesting one. This is Hideki Kawatami teaming up with Keigo Nakamura, facing off members of Damnation, Matt Pauly, and Soma Takoa. Now, much of this match, Keigo, he has this attitude where he's trying to be tough, but sometimes it doesn't affect, especially if he confronts a guy like Matt Pauly, who's a huge dude, kind of a little bit of the slimmer version of Big Vader. But however, Damnation has always been the dominant in these particular matches, and they won. Next match, we have a very interesting kind of like a similar cinematic type match. This guy, I forgot his name, but he goes by the name Machine, was training this person named what's her Yukado Mito, who's facing off against this silly character, kind of like a mascot type named Pokotan. It's kind of like a retarded version of Pokemon, but it was so funny. I thought the match was so funny. I thought I couldn't stop laughing. Machine was the ref throughout the entire match, but Pokotan was trying to beat Mito, but she was, in the other hand, not having it. But luckily for her, she came on top. So you may see these type of shows in DDT how silly they are, but they're really entertaining. It would make you completely laughable. Next match we have a tag team. We got the tag team All Out, Akito and Yuki Inoue versus Mizuki Wataze and of course veteran wrestler Jun Akiyamaya. Now you can say in this type of match, Akiyama will be the one to win the match for his team. But however, it did not go exactly. I mean, it was a very hard hitting match where you got a couple of young guys facing off against another young guy who's teamed up with a veteran. But it did not end exactly like that for Akiyama. It was All Out who picked up the victory when they pinned what's his name? Mizuki. So basically they knew that they have to isolate him away from him, but it was a great strategy on that part. Very psychological way of how do I say, how to separate the veteran away from the newbie. Next match we have members coming from Pro Wrestling Noah, the faction known as Congo, consistent of Masa Kiyama, Kiramiya, Nao, and of course leader Keno, alongside with the other members of Congo, Neo, Manabu Soya, and Yoshiki Inamura. They were facing off against Kazuke Higuchi, Tomomitsu Natsugana, and of course the Japanese Stone Cold version down there, Sanshiro Tagagi. Now, you ask yourselves right now, wait a minute, if these guys, Congo, are coming from Pro Wrestling Noah, why are they in DDT? Well, if you guys follow either reports that I posted out or news updates that I posted out, or I mentioned this on certain episodes, DDT owns Pro Wrestling Noah, but they formed their own company that way they can own it, called Cyberfight. Sanshiro Tagagi, he in fact plays the president of Pro Wrestling Noah. So it wouldn't surprise for those who know that you can see certain wrestlers will be invited to go to DDT for a little entertaining, but we don't know if they would play out the comedy routine. If you follow Congo, they're mostly a very serious faction, especially their leader Keno, who is the Global Honor Crown National Champion, which is the GHC. That's their governing body championship down there in Pro Wrestling. But the match was so good. I enjoyed it. But Tagaki was pretty much not afraid of taking on a guy like Keno because he's the toughest dude of them all. But however, like any other strong faction like Congo, they win their matches as always. But however, Keno asked for a mic. Now, I didn't know what he was going to say, but for some reason he just threw fit and walked away. I don't know what was that all about, but I don't know if he was unhappy that he was there or whatever the case was. But I don't know what. But later the mic turned into Sanshiro Tagagi's promo. I don't know what he said. There was no how do I say, English commentating involved in this. I don't know if they have any. I do know we have seen Dragon Gate and New Japan, and just recently Pro Wrestling Noah, which I'm gonna do that a little later. Now the next match is a championship match, the DDT Universal Championship in a hardcore three-way match consistent of Shunma Katsumura versus Azumi Koduka, and of course the champion, leader of Damnation, Daisuke Sakaki. Now, like I said, this match is a hardcore match. Anything can go. Weapons, tables and ladders, kendos, or whatever they need to. But the one thing I didn't notice is Katsumura actually came out dressed up like the Joker. You probably being what? Yeah, that's how it was. I don't know if this was like helping him with transforming to someone that he could win for the title. I don't know. But however, I think from what I saw, he what was his name, the Daisuke and Uzami actually were the ones that did not want to face Katsuma. What's his name? Katsumata, because he's more of the bigger threat than any other person in that particular match. But however, the match ended in the favor of Daisuke. But the match had an interesting post-match promo by both um Azumi and Daisaki. Now again, no English commentating, but however, I don't know what they're saying, but it appears like maybe they have unfinished business. Like maybe this is they wanted this championship to be their way instead of a three-way. I'm not 100% sure, but whatever it was, it seems like they're like in agreement or some sorts. But it is what it is. Now let's talk about the main event, which is a cinematic match. It was a last man standing match with Konosuke Takashita versus a very unusual wrestler, Yoshihiko. Now, if you guys don't know who Yoshihiko is, he's like this lifeless doll. Now, there's always a person right there dressed in black that tried to do the moves, or however the wrestlers themselves put a move. It's a pretty good match. How when you have a guy like this, I know that Yoshihiko made an appearance recently with GCW, losing the DDT Iron Man Heavy Metal Championship to Joey Janela. But it was a very cinematic story. Uh, at first, you thought Takashita might have gotten rid of Yoshihiki in a bar or some random location, but he kept showing up out of nowhere. Now, Takashita won the match, but the real question is, what happens to Yoshihiki? I don't know. We may see him down the road again or so, but we did saw him at GCW. So I said let's move on to day 2 of Wrestle Peter Pan. Okay, so we're in day 2 for DDT Pro Wrestling Wrestle Peter Pan on June what day? 7th of 2020. The first match was a very unusual match. This one was False Counts Anywhere Chop Up Challenge match. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, is this. Yeah, chop in the chest. So they had to do how many chops they had to do. So the competitors in this particular match is comedy favorite Antonio Honda versus Toto Oshiwa. Now, this match went out for almost an hour and a half. So they were in the ring at first, but all of a sudden they decided to do the little chop up challenge in the back or random locations in the venue. And the ref was using the little clicker counting. So the match lasted for almost an hour and a half. Now you can say, why would they last long? Like I said, DDT Pro Wrestling is a unique promotion. They add a little bit of comedy, a little bit type of stipulations you may think, what? So that's how I like DDT. They have like their own standout way of their promotion. If you're not a fan of it, then don't watch it. If you're interested, then you should watch it. So, but however, so I can keep it short. The match ended in a draw after 1 hour and a half. Well, this was happening. Other matches were going on and going on. So let's go through that. So the next match is a Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling exhibition match. First team, we have Yuki Aino, Nodoka Temna, and Rika Tatsumi facing off against Shoko Nakajima, Miyu Yamashita, and of course, the magical girl, Yuka Sakasaki. So you can expect this match to go exactly. Now, I have been following a lot of these Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling wrestlers, but it was also another good match. Now, you ask yourself, wait a minute, if these guys are from Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling, why are they in a DDT ring? Easy. DDT owns the promotion because they're their sister company. They have like their own thing, but it's not uncommon where they have women in their promotion. Unlike we see in Japan, a lot of the promotions are separate. Like majority of the wrestling promotions only have the men. Only the women have their own promotion. There's only a rare occasion where we've seen um, women in the same promotion with the men. I think just Top Out Pro Wrestling, Taka Michinoku's promotion, DDT, and maybe I forgot another one. But yeah, that's one of the few things that I have noticed. So it was a good match. I'm a fan of Nakajima, Yamashita, and of course Sakasaki. So you can guess who won this match, and that is um, Nakajima, Yamashita, and of course Yuka Sakasaki. As always, the magical girl always wins her match. So the next match is another championship match. This is for the DDT Extreme Division Championship, Falls Count Anywhere. No count out match. Basically, even if you're out of the ring, you will not be counted out. So you probably say yourselves in the back of your heads, how's that even possible? It's DDT Pro Wrestling. Anything's possible. So we have Yukio Naya versus Shina Aoki. Now I have seen these two before on certain occasions, but Yukio Naya seems like the one who's determined to win this championship. But it was Sheena who's always trying to ensure he maintains his title, even if Yukio is in fact a bit taller than him. But like they say in Rose Gracie, he used his own strength against him. So I think that's what Aino did. Uh, Aoki actually used his own strength. He was dressed up in a gi or something. But that's how it works. Next match we have mixed tag team, mixed intergender match. We have Chris Brooks teaming up with Maki Itoi versus Eruption. It's consistent of Saki Akia and Yukio Sakaguchi. Now, I have seen most of these people in certain events in DDT, but there are moments where Maki Itoi does not want to confront Saki because she basically was running away like a little girl, like not to deal with the bully. And of course, Chris Brooks is like, what the hell? But however, that was all part of a plan. So Maki can try to take control of the match, but it was still not enough for guys like Eruption. So basically, Eruption, Saki, and what's his name again? Yukio won their respected match. Now we got a very interesting match. Now, I mentioned this title on various occasions. I'm talking about the Iron Man Heavy Metal Weight Championship. Now, for all you people who are new to this channel, you probably ask yourself, why is there a championship called the Iron Man Heavy Metal Weight Championship? It's a 24/7 hardcore title. Basically, you defend that title 24/7. Um, I mentioned this on a previous episode on the previous segment on the first day. Yoshihiko was the champion, but he lost it to Joey Janela. Now, in this particular title, you defend it wherever you go. Even Joey Ryan actually brought that title to the States. So did what's his name, Puma King. But the match ended in a weird bizarre. The current champion of the time was Danshuko Dino, who was facing off against Makoto Oishi. Now, Oishi was having a hard time trying to be involved because he's a new dad. But Dino, he was upset that he didn't show up. But all of a sudden, Makoto Oishi showed up and he fell down the stairs. It's kind of like a love story, and then tragedy happens. I'm like, I laughed so hard when I saw this. I did not see this one coming, but it was so funny. I couldn't stop laughing, but it was a fun match. So it ended in a no contest. So there was no bell rung or anything. Next match we have Mao and Asuka, a male and a female tag team competitors, facing off against Pro Wrestling Noah's top star Naomichi Matafuji and of course DDT star Harashima. this is what a very interesting match because this is an intergender match where you have three men and one woman in the same ring. Now, I didn't. This is not the first time Naomichi was in a match. There is a match where he faced a woman. He actually had. There was one where he faced our current AEW Women's Champion, Hikaru Shida. So it was a pretty good match. I like this. I did like how it went on this one particularly. But you can guess right away it's Marufuji and Harashima that won this match. All thanks to those how a guy like Naomichi makes a name for himself for who he is. So the next match is for the KOD the Tag Team Championship between Strongheart members T-Hawk and El Lindaman versus Nautilus Yukio Ueno and Naomi Yoshimura. So pretty good match. I loved it a lot because I'm a big fan of the Stronghearts. Always have been, for almost 2 years, especially when they made their appearance in AEW. But awesome match. I would love to see T Hawk and Linda Man won the match, but it did not go well. Nautilus did prove that they are the real tag team that they deserve to be. It was in fact Yoshimura who actually picked up the victory on this match. So they proven they earned their keep. Now we get to the main event in this one. We have for the KOD Open Weight Championship between um, Tetsuya Endo and of course someone who is familiarized in New Japan. I'm talking about Masato Tanaka. Now I heard of Masato Tanaka. He was the very first ever never open weight champion for New Japan, but seeing him there was pretty interesting. Now, Tetsuya Endo, he's a member of Damnation. Now, I've always assumed that the Damnation mates were going to show up and interfere. It did not end it that way. It ended with Tetsuya Endo winning the match fair and square without the help of his stablemate. So he has proven that he is very good at what he does. So this is one championship that ended up in favor of Damnation. So I think that's pretty much it I got for you guys for DDT. There is still more to come. The next episode will be like revealing more of DDT stuff for the new year. So let's move on with Pro Wrestling Noah. Okay, so we got Pro Wrestling Noah. With this event, I haven't seen it, but I heard of it. It's called the Final Chronicle. This took place in December 6th of 2020. Uh, I wasn't too much interested until I decided, you know what, I'm gonna check it out. So I didn't get the chance to see the full thing, but let's go from start to finish and see how this one went from it. This match started with, I think there are like the young boys in this one. We have Yasukara Yano versus Kinya Okada. Now, don't ask me if they're related to Toru Yano and Kaguchika Okada. I don't think so. Maybe it's just a coincidence they got this similar last name. But this one was a very interesting match because these are guys are like the ones who are still in development to train to join the Pro Noah roster. I think they're part of the dojo, and I have to say the one person who stand out the most is Okada. He has a very unique style, and I think, and according to the commentators, they say that he has a bright future with Noah, and I believe that. Maybe can't wait to see them when we see him even more often in Pro Wrestling Noah. The next match we have members of Congo from the junior heavyweight division. We have Neo, Nao, and Tadasuke versus Junta Miyamoto at Atsushi Togo, Kotoge and Daisuke Arada. Now, this particular six-man match, this kind of led to development that led to the gift event that led to Tadasuke facing off Daisuke Arada for um, GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship that Arada currently has, but it was a pretty good match because all these competitors are junior heavyweights. You could expect Congo would have won it because they're a dominant force, but however, no. You starting to see that Harada is the most dominant competitor in the junior heavyweight division, you know, and that's how I view it. But however, this is what led to that match at the Gift on the 26th of December. I think this one was for the title. But however, it's what's their names? Miyamoto, Go, Kotoge, and of course Harada, who won this match, and telling Daisuke to Tadasuke that he is the number one junior heavyweight in the entire Pro Wrestling Noah junior heavyweight division. So that led to that build up to that story. Next match, the heavyweight division for the members of Congo. We have Manabu Soya, Katsuhiko Nakajima, and of course Masa Kiramaya versus the junior heavyweight competitors Full Throttle. Yohei, Saike, Saike Yoshioka, and Hajime Ohara. Now, you can say yourself, it's possible that the junior Full Throttle could win because even though they're junior heavyweights, their speed will be unmatched against Congo. But however, it did not go exactly like they would have wanted. Ohara, what's his name? Hamijima Ohara got pinned by none other than which one is it? Masa Kira, Kiramiya. So he picked up the victory, making a good impression as always to show how dominant Congo can be, even when they're in full force. Now the next match is for the GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. Salvaje de Oriente teaming up with Katoro Suzuki, facing off against Stinger, Yoshinami Ogawa, and Hayamada. But out of nowhere in this particular match, Nosawa and of course this mask guy, don't know who he is. They've been this is what led to this feud that led where all three competitors faced each other. Now in this particular match, it seems like everything seemed normal, just a normal tag team championship. But however, Savaje out of the blue betrayed Suzuki in allowing Stinger to retain their titles. But however, it was revealed that for a while now, from what the commentators are saying, Stinger added a new member. It turned out to be Salvaje, and out of the blue as well, Salvaje removed his mask. Now, Nosawa and this mask dude, I don't know who he is, seemed like they want to congratulate Stinger in their win. But however, it did not go exactly like that. Nosawa and this guy attacked them, and it seems like they built up an alliance with what's his name again? Kotaro Suzuki. So this is what led to what I saw in the later pay per view, the Gift. So it became a feud of two factions. So that's what I starting to see. This is was the point of the beginning for that particular feud. Now the next match is for the GHC National Championship. We got um, Kazushi Sakuraba versus leader of Congo, Keno. Now, in this particular match, this guy, Sakuraba, he seems like he's a very good MMA fighter and, of course, a submission specialist. Now, he was using whatever techniques he can get to ensure that he put him in a hole, Keno in a hole. Basically, Keno was really, really having a hard time trying to get away from it. He knows that he's going to be in a hold, but somehow he outsmarted Sakuraba because he reversed a hold on him and pinned him. Not even Sakuraba actually couldn't believe it. He was like that. Keno was like telling him that he used his head. He didn't realize that he had him pinned right in the ground with his shoulders down because he let his guard down thinking he was going to win the match. So that's how Keno remained, and I don't think Sakuraba was happy to hear that he lost in that fashion. Next match, we have an 8-man tag match. We have the first team Yoshiki Inamura, Daiki Inaba, Shehu Taniguchi, and Kato Kiyomiya versus M's alliance consistent of Naomichi Marufuji, Yamamoto, Masa Masakutsu Funaki, and of course, um, Keiji Muto, or as we know him, the Great Muta. I'm a fan of the Great Muta, and of course, Marufuji. Now, you could expect these two guys to somehow win their matches because they're legendary in their own right, but it did not go exactly to plan. The match ended in the favor of the first team, but out of nowhere, Marufuji was still fighting like he didn't know the match ended with him losing. But this is like a feud that those two will probably end up facing each other in the weeks or months to come. Well, it is how it ended. But the brawl is so good. I love it how the match was still the fight's still going even when the bell rings. Now let's get to the main event. We got is for this GHC Heavyweight Championship. We got Takashi Sigura versus the champion Go Shiozuka. Now these two guys known each other for many years. They were part of the early stages of Pro Wrestling Noah, along with Misawa. Uh, Takashi actually was part of the development where he left All Japan Pro Wrestling and sided with Misawa for what was happening. And as for Shiozuku, he was one of the newer stars that was planning to take Pro Wrestling Noah to the top. So, however, these two guys confronted each other because Shiozuko, oh, hold on, think that's his name, Shiozaki actually Shiozaki claimed himself to be Noah, but however, it was Sigura who believed that you haven't beaten him, so you can't call yourself Noah. So this was almost an hour match, very, very physical. I loved how this one was long. You weren't sure how this was going to end until we reached the halfway point, but it did end it in Shiosaki winning the match. So it was one of the best matches ever I've ever seen. Kind of like a little bit of what we've seen in New Japan, but really good. But however, the match, we went to a post match out of the blue. We just saw Keiji Muto. Now, Keiji Muto congratulated him in his victory against Segura, but he did offer him that he was willing to challenge him for the title, and of course, Shiosaki actually accepted. And he right in the post match, he did stated that he is going to be the flag bearer of pro wrestling as long as he's champion. So we seen those type of wrestlers, like Okada was the guy who carried the company on his back, and that's the sort of thing we've been seeing. So I love how this one in. It was a pretty good event. I loved it. So let's move on with Stardom. Okay, so this is the last Stardom show of 2020 that took place on the 26th of December, and I think this was in Kourekan Hall. I'm assuming. The first match is a three-way match. Once again, I've been seeing these girls face off each other on various occasions. You got Lady C versus Ruka versus Gokigen Death. Now, much of these times I've seen these girls face off each other, I've always seen one person always come on top. Yay! Yeah, Gokigen Death actually always wins her match with her ways of teaming up and then turning her back, try to make the win. That is always one of those her MO that I've always noticed every time I watch her. She's like always a sneaky one. So she's the one who won this three-way match. The next match is the newly crowned Future of Stardom champion Saya Ida versus Momo Watanabe. Now, this was a non-title match, and I don't think Momo Watanabe Nabe actually was facing for the title, and I don't think she has any interest of that at the point. But however, Saya was very strong, very determined to prove that she belonged in Stardom. But however, it's Momo Watanabe who picked up the victory. She is a veteran, much more experienced than Saya, so that made more of the sense that she won this match. The next match is a tag team. We got Oedo Tai, consistent of Saki Kashima and Natsuko Tora versus Donna Del Mondo, consistent of Natsupoi and Himeka. As you know, these girls have faced each other on multiple occasions. You can expect Oedo Tai to win their match because they always cheat by distracting ref, bringing some objects they're not supposed to use. But however, none of that worked. It was Donna Del Mondo who particularly won this match, allowing it to be a good victory for them. But however, we will see their other members of Odeotai compete in the Goddess of Stardom, which is the tag team titles on this one. The next match we have is a 6-woman tag team match consistent of the Artists of Stardom champions Cosmic Angels, Unagi Sayaka, Mina Shirakawa, and Tam Nakuno versus Donna Del Mondo, Mike Meaka, and Suri and Julia. Now, in this particular match, it was revealed that it was in fact Mina Shirakawa's birthday. But however, I don't think she expected this on her birthday. During her match, she got kicked hard and broke her nose. Now, it did reveal throughout the news outlets that she's going to be out for 2 months. Now, when I saw that she got kicked in the nose, I can see a little bit of the blood coming out. And I'm like, dang, she should have. I know she stepped out of the ring for a little bit to get checked out. But however, the match ended in Donna Del Mundo's favor. But I don't think they could continue on with Mina having a broken nose. But of course, in the end of this match, Donna Del Mondo actually did a promo. Now they can see the Cosmic Angels are the top team, but however, they're not even in the same level as Donna Del Mondo. I know the Cosmic Angels are stepped away from the shadows of what stars are, and of course cause a little conflict with Mayu Iwatani. So it ended in that particular way. But however, uh, Maika actually still acknowledged that she's going to face Utami for the the red belt, which is the top championship. So that's how it goes. Oh, I skipped the match. I didn't notice. There's this one match is a tag team with Azumi teaming up with none other than the former AEW Women's Champion, or should I say, the very first champion Rio, facing off against Star Kid, and Mayu Iwatani. Now, you can expect who was going to win this match. Now, I was all for Azami and Rio, but however, Stars has always been the one team that kind of stand out the most because I've mostly been seeing Star Kid and Mayu Iwatani teaming up on various occasions. Now, Starlight Kid has always been mostly involved in tag teams, but she hardly gets a little bit of competition, but she still needs to grow out of it. But this time, she and Mayu were dominant, great teamwork, and they won this match in particularly. Now let's get to the main event. We got the Goddesses of Stardom Championship, which is the tag team titles. The challengers, Odo Tai, consistent of B Priestley and Konami. Now, Konami did stated when members of Odo Tai, which consisted of B, Tora, and Kashima, lost the Artist of titles. Konima made it perfectly clear she'll be teaming up with B Priestley for these titles. And they were facing off against the champions from Queen's Quest, Suya Kamitani, and Utani Hayashishida. Now, this match was so good, But however, there is another factor you have to play out. The other members of Oedotai. So basically, you know for a fact they're going to interfere. That's always been the clue. And if they interfere, of course, what's her name? Konami whacked Itani with the chair. The ref didn't see it. So it did did allow for these girls to win, and they won the match respectfully. And of course, B Prusy going out to her way saying how Momo Watanabe sucks and everybody else sucks, and it's going to be a great year for them. But however, the event did not end it in that favor. They apparently received word that two Yoshi wrestlers were making an appearance. Now, this is the first time showing up. It was more of a protest. These are veteran female wrestlers, Nanae Takahashi and Yoshiko. Now, it appears that there is a problem. Mayu Iwatani, who's been the person carrying the flag of Stardom, did not take this too kindly of them appearing. But of course, Starlight Kid, who always had her back, Saya Ida, who's been protecting her, they wanted to make sure that they made it clear that they are the future of Stardom. But however, these two veterans are not convinced. But however, Momo Wanatabe, who's been there as same as Mayu, is telling Mayu this is not a Stars problem. This is a Stardom problem. They have to deal with these two ladies who come to their territory acting like they own the place. So they realize they have to stand up together to show that they are not going to tolerate their appearances at all at Stardom. So it did lead to a unification, except for Oedo Tai, who have their own agenda. So that's how it ends. So hope you guys enjoy me reviewing these particular events when I do Japanese wrestling. There will be more of these. Just recently found out new um, events, Japanese wrestling events from DDT and All Japan have been out, and I can't wait to see them. And I will also shoot them with review GCW's 2-day event, which is Good Riddance. It took place on the 31st of December, but also the very first match of the first event of the year, which is the 56 nights. I'm excited to review those. And then, of course, we got Wrestle Kingdom 15, a 2-day event. I will review that one on a separate episode. So, I must bid all of you viewers adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah, and have a nice day. Bang.